put it onto the reel, you get a pizza dish. I'm not sure if you call it the pizza dish. I like to call it the pizza dish. That's just the empty guy with enough space.
It's like being a bartender at a party. It's like you're there for a purpose, and you don't need to just do silly small talk, but you're actually there doing something fun. The other thing that I really enjoy about being an operator is obviously the handicraft per se, because this is one of the 2 cinemas in Zurich that still screen on manual formats. So it's a dying profession. I still managed to get a hold of that.
Do you need to see it? Yeah, you need to see it. Okay, this is another one. This is a German film, and you can see there are all the reels in here. This one's a bit of a special one because it's an archive copy. Ooh. Archive copies means we're not allowed to splice them together. Or we have to pay 50 euros for every cut that we put into the film.
My first cinema job that I got was working the tickets and the popcorn sales in Lucerne while I was studying. So that's how I got into popcorn. Then I realized, hey, it would be kind of cooler to screen the films, because also the interaction with a lot of the audience, you know, just on a Friday night, Friday or Saturday evening, when you've got people like, yeah, zweimal Fast and Furious, and you're just like, oh Jesus, and you just got to deal with the clientele, which is fun. You know, it's fun. It's an experience. But sometimes it was just nice to get away from the people and just screen the films.
You understand French?
No, I learned Spanish.
You understand French?
No, I learned Italian.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. See how it's not. Look at it. What is this? The guy who did this last is an idiot. That's old sticky tape. It's either that or look at this. It's just not together properly. There we go. So you hold it like this. It should be relatively secure unless you hit into there, and then you got the entire film on the floor. So you don't do that. Here we go. It's always this way around. This guy turns clockwise. You've always got the picture. Each picture has 4 preparation holes. You got the picture, and then you got the audio on the side. Yeah. If you lick it and it sticks to your tongue, that's the layered side. That's the area that you can actually scrape away. But of course, you don't want to just lick the film the whole time. So if you also just breathe onto it, my huste stays there for a brief moment and then it disappears. That's the unlayered side. And I found that out the hard way, because when my first operating job, they asked me, so how do you find out if it's beschichtet, unbeschichtet? And I was like, hey, you gotta lick it. And then you find out, and then he looks at me and says, yeah, dude, you can also just breathe on it. And then he looks at me and is like, have you been licking the film this whole time? I was like, yeah, screw you. Foot, beginning, end. So now I'm gonna start to reel this up. This is the first act. Afterwards, I'm going to have the first act beginning, first act foot, then I've got to put the second, and so this is how I'm going to be reeling this up.
The most difficult thing of maybe being an operator is basically troubleshooting. If something goes wrong, you need to be able to act.
Screw it.
It's a bit embarrassing. You need a catch-up reel, so you've got the first part of the film on the one reel, and then you've got a reel to pick up the film when it gets screened. And I actually, on the 16mm, I had the pickup reel was too small. Hence, when that reel was full, the film started to go onto the floor and overswim. So I put down my jacket and I literally physically put the film into my jacket just to reel it up after.
It's so close. It's so amazingly close. Oh. It's so super close. Oh my god. The worst things you can usually do on the films, or where the quality suffers the most on 35, are obviously on the beginning and the ends, because that's where people have the most contact with. The middle of the film is usually untouched because nobody can get in there. To splice it together, you make sure that you have, I'm not using normal tape, I'm using special tape. And splice. That's the second one. There we go. And we're good to go. Go for it. There we go.
there's a certain tranquility to it and a rhythmic it's very peaceful, very private, and you can only really understand that when you do it.
Dann gehe ich da mal den Ende holen. Ich sehe auch gerade nochmal die Informationen. Jetzt sehe ich auch gerade, dass der Dings falsch ist. So, platzieren mit die Dings. Dann tue ich es oben zuerst einfädeln. Dann legen wir es oben rein. Es ist ein SR-Film, das ist der digitale Tonabnehmer, den ich jetzt hier einfädle oben. Wenn es Mono ist oder nur einfach Stereo, muss ich es hier oben gar nicht reinlegen, weil dann nimmt es den Ton dort nicht ab. Dann ist das der Oberteil, dann gehe ich es unten machen. I'm in the mood. So we've got Dias running, then we've got some moving ones, some trailers. And then 35. That's just a camera just filming into the screen live. And that camera is hooked up to that television set. So if I'm sitting on that sofa, I can watch from there if something goes wrong. Kill the lights. Kill the music. So stop. Killing the dowser on the digital, because otherwise it's going to be projecting black and I don't want that. Good to go. Fingers crossed. Have it. Oh, it's this one. It has a really long beginning with a starry sky. It takes forever until the first subtitle comes. Because when you see a first subtitle, then you can really adjust the picture so that you know subtitles are in nice.
Every time you screen a 35mm film, the quality gets worse. However, there's something really charming, I think, that when you're in the cinema and you're watching a 35mm film, especially if it's a retrospective or an older screening, but to actually witness and feel the material itself, you can see the scrapes, you can see the corn, you can see the markings, you can see if it was something was cut out or something like that. So it's really nice to see that in a historical kind of sense. It's really fun to watch 35mm films and screen 35mm films.
Two buttons here. This one starts the projector, and this one opens the blandy. Basically, when I see the first sign, I'm going to start it. When I see the second sign, the second cigarette burn, I open the dowser. That's the plan. 4, the black dots. Yeah. Those are the cigarette burns. That's the sign. So what you're looking for is on the top right screen. Top right, you're going to see a sign. It's going to be a dark one. Come on. There it is. There's a cross. Can you see it? There they were. Okay, there were 2 signs. There. Oh, almost. Oh well. Almost. Got a bit of black. You just clean him off, and then you pop that back. Close him off, and he's good. Nice and clean. While they're having sex.
I've got to be honest, and even though I love the format, I don't. It's going to be impossible to preserve it because it's so huge, and there are there are means to record this digitally to save it and actually keep the quality better. So it's purely for the toys. It's purely for the this is how we used to do it. So this is a legacy of cinema that has been passed down, and I think it's very important that one holds on to this. And we do have institutions like the Cinematheek and that takes care of these formats. Or if you guys have been to the Lichtspiel, check out the Lichtspiel in Bern. It's really cool, really cool. So there are institutions that do hold on to it, but probably for the mainstream cinema, it's not going to survive. So it's not me. I'm just one of the guys that screens the stuff. So I can't influence that, and it is being preserved. Should it be preserved? Definitely, but it won't be continued. That's what I'm saying. It will probably not be continued at all, ever.